Hey guys, just sorry, finishing off a bowl of pasta because I just come back from a ride, and it was a good ride. It was a 4-hour ride, threshold session. Get into it in a second, but I've been having a few questions recently now that I've been coming back like from illness and riding again. If I could touch on like some of my nutrition and like what I'm eating currently, and obviously I showed the other day in a video that we've been eating some Gusto boxes, so those have been our evening meals. I'll show you that later in this video, but like I really want to touch upon really quickly if I can in this video, without too much fluff that you might expect from me or like from a YouTube video. I just want to hit you with like my session today, what I've eaten. I track it all on an app that I'll talk you through as well, and just throw it at you, so you'll see what I'm eating, and you'll see the numbers as well, like the calories and whatnot, and how I time it all and everything to get it in. So no beating around the bush, let's just dive straight in. Okay, so the ride this morning was 4 hours in total, and there was 2 20-minute FTP efforts in there with 10 minutes of recovery between both of them. They came in the first half of the ride, and then the last 2 hours of the ride was basically just riding to get home. Nothing special, no intensity. So it kind of depends where I am in my season and my training phase. But at the minute I'm doing a lot of volume, but I'm also doing this kind of intensity right now as well. So it's very demanding. There's obviously a lot of carbohydrate being burned. There's a lot of energy being burned in general. And I need to recover for the next day, for the next session. If I was doing a lot less hours, for example, or if I was in a different phase where I was maybe trying to just lean down a little bit, then maybe I would use the latter part of this ride to reduce my carbohydrate intake and yeah, get something else out of this ride. But for where we are now, I'm just explaining it as it is. I've been focusing on fueling. So on this ride today, I consumed 6 apple fruit Beics and 190 grams, which was 2 90-gram sachets of carbohydrate mix. So both of those totaled around about 330 grams of carbs, 14 grams of fat, and 5 grams of protein, and 1,500 calories, give or take. Now my breakfast this morning was only about 2 hours before I headed out, and I had porridge oats, 100 grams, I had a banana, I had some honey, I had some pumpkin seeds, and I had some protein powder, and that meal totaled virtually 100 grams of carbs, 20 grams of fat, and almost 40 grams of protein. Because it's going to be a while since I get my next hit of protein, so making sure I get something in the morning is one of the major components, one of the major boxes I need to tick for the day, because if I don't get it there, it's going to be at least until 2 PM sometimes until I get my first hit of protein, which, as you can imagine, is a long time. And one of the biggest ways to understand if you've been feeling well is when you come back, you feel okay, you feel good, and you haven't like gone deep into reserves at all. And that's how I felt today. A simple metric, but just works. Now, according to my power meter, this 4-hour ride where I did 183 TSS and around 2,500 kilojoules of work, remember most of that coming in the first half, when I got home, I immediately had a protein shake, drink, whatever you want to call it, with a chocolate milk alternative from Oatly. I've been really enjoying it recently, and it's actually like, I think it tastes better than like chocolate milk. Don't at me in the comments, but it tastes real nice. Now, I'm just a creature of habit, but I usually have that drink virtually as soon as I get in. Sometimes I prepare it before I even go, so that when I get home, it's there for me to grab in the fridge and no excuses. I literally just drink it on the spot. Not long after that, I have a bowl of pasta. This was just 70 grams of carbs in this pasta serving with a scoop of pesto. But that whole post-ride meal, I suppose, was 130 grams of carbs, 18 grams of fat, and nearly 40 grams of protein again. And then my snack a couple of hours later is yogurt. I'm just a yogurt eater. I just can't live without yogurt. It's usually a 0% fat or a low fat type with some granola of my fancy. That's always something that I rely on. Well, I treat myself on sometimes, is granola. It's really sad how small the portion sizes are though, so I've had 55 grams weighed out, but I don't really weigh it. I kind of eyeball it. And then some blueberries to get a serving of fruit in, so that's 65 grams of carbs, 8 grams of fat, and 25 grams of protein again. And as you probably noticed up to this point, the biggest hit of carbohydrate, or my biggest intake of energy, has come in breakfast, has come during the ride, then has come post-ride. And that's something that has been the biggest change I've made in the last 5-10 years in my nutrition and in my timing of nutrition, is just getting as much in as I can around the work and during the work that I'm doing. The rest of the time, I don't kind of eat like a normal human being, but I eat less like Shrek and more like, you know, the average guy. Actually, I don't even know if Shrek eats a lot. It's kind of... So then I have a snack later on in the afternoon, usually to accompany like an afternoon coffee before I prepare the evening meal, and that is usually more fruit. Dates are quite energy dense and very friendly, so the 60 grams of dates is a good hit of like 40 grams of carbs. And then I also have an apple, so we're looking at another hit. We're looking at 70 grams of carbs in total and virtually no fat and no protein. And then dinner tonight, we're going to show you, to wrap up this video, I'm going to show you what we're going to have. Okay, on tonight's menu, look at all those, I've got to wash all those balls at some point. So tonight on the menu, and to wrap up my day of eating, or well, it's been like a fast forward day of eating because I tried to save time and not. So this meal that we're having tonight is a Spanish style cod stew with garlic flatbreads, and the macronutrients come in at around 480 calories, 9 grams of fat, 70 grams of carbs, 7 grams of fiber, 30 grams of protein. But there are vegetables and things in this recipe. I don't track vegetables per se unless it's a like vast quantity. So if I'm eating like, I don't know, like a giant salad or something and it's got a load of peppers in it, or I don't know, like I'm trying to think of like mushrooms or something, like something I think that will have like a fair bit of carbs or calories in it. Otherwise, I don't tend to track it. So what you're seeing, or what you've seen today, like might look a bit bland, but there are greens and things in there. It's just I don't spend time tracking them, because my goal today, if I didn't ride, was around about 2,000 calories. Of course I did ride, and I burned approximately 2,500 kilojoules like of work on the bike. So I consumed today, with this meal now tonight, 4,000 calories. So I'll put it up on the screen now, but my macronutrient breakdown for the day is 71% carbohydrate, 15% fat, and 14% protein. And in like numbers, 746 grams of carbs, which is like, maths on that. I weigh like 63 kilos, so you could do the maths on that. Fat, 72 grams, and protein, 142 grams. So everything I've tracked today, I've used the MyFitnessPal app. I have the premium account, which I pay for every year. It is worth it to give you that breakdown. I'm not sponsored. Don't take what I say as a sponsored post. Well, that's that, guys. That's going to wrap up this video. There is my nutrition. There is my day of eating around the training session that I've done. So I will do more of these in the future on different training days, maybe even for race days. Any feedback, let me know, and I will consider improving for the next video. So that's going to be it for this one. I'm going to see you next time.